teacher must be a good role model and be responsible to their students. This interview that we had conducted helps me to give an idea for what I will be going to teach someday. I gathered lots of information about Mrs. Banyares' techniques, strategies, and styles to get the attention of his or her students and how she disciplines them properly. She accepts all the opinions and suggestions of every learners to give pieces of advice to motivate further studies. We will become a future educator someday. We should establish and understand the skills and abilities of every student to excel not only in academics but also in non-academics activities. Now, I know what is the real life of being a teacher inside and outside the classroom. Take note, a teacher takes a hand, opens a mind, touches the heart of every student.
A person who provides education for students like us is the teacher. The role of teacher is often formal and ongoing, carried out at a school or other places of formal education. What I have learned from the interview we have conducted is that teaching is not just an easy profession. It requires determination and patience for us to become an effective teachers. Of course, there are different teachers, but it doesn't matter. What matters is how he or she will be able to transmit the knowledge and experiences to his or her students effectively. It's not all about the salary, but the assurance that the students will be able to learn something and can share it with others. Others may say that it's easy because they don't feel the efforts that teachers did. But remember, teaching is the only profession that teaches other professions. On the other hand, strategies, styles, or techniques that teachers have been used helps them to get the interest of the students. Building and developing collaborative relationships is also an effective way. To sum it all, it just tells us, we future educators, that there are certain factors need to be considered in order for the teachers to deliver his or her discussion and for the students to understand and can apply it as well.
And I quote, "It isn't someone who teaches something, but someone who inspires the student to give the best in order to discover what she already knows." End of the quote. This is the thing I've learned in Mrs. Banyares' interview that we have conducted. I've learned that being an educator is not an ordinary job. You need dedication for you to be an inspiration for your learners. This is a tasky job. You need to prepare your visual aids, grades, cards, and especially you need to think strategies and styles that you will be using to have an interactive discussion inside the classroom. The most important, you must be patient. You must be prepared. The things that I've learned in Mrs. Banyares, I will use it when I become a teacher. Thanks to her. She serves as my inspiration to continue what I've started. A pleasant afternoon to all of you. For me, as a future teacher, all of us have no idea about what is the real life of a teacher, inside and outside of the classroom. I am thankful that we had conducted an interview
because it is not only about gathering information about their profession, but also an inspiration to all of us. I have learned that teaching is a big responsibility, a lifetime commitment, and a holistic job. As a teacher, you should know how to communicate to your students, discipline them, their differences, and how to provide their needs. And lastly, I have learned that a wise teacher teaches complexity, while a genuine teacher teaches simplicity. That's all. Thank you.
Good day. I learned a lot of things with the interview that we had conducted with Mrs. Maura Bernales at Kanuay National High School. And first of this, that how should I discipline properly my future students, wherein I should not bring an embarrassment of them. Instead, I can establish a good or harmonious relationship with my students, which in turn it may cause or may lead to an interactive discussion. I also learned some strategies on how to have the attention of the learners, such as giving a reward or quizzes that will uplift their motivation to participate in our discussion. Aside from this, I realized that teacher should possess the positive attitude so that it will be easier for me to get their interest. Because as we know, the student's interest always depends on the teacher, so that it will motivate them to participate actively in our discussion. And lastly, it helps me to have an insight about my big responsibilities that I have to face someday when I become finally a teacher. As a whole, this interview is a good opportunity for me to gain knowledge and strategies or techniques that I may use once I become a Filipino teacher. So thank you, Mrs. Maura Bernales.